Hello, I am Adrienne Osborne, a vocal coach in Denver, Colorado, and a lot of our students at our studio are saying lately that they're not practicing because they don't have a place to practice at home, and we are all spending a lot more time at home these days. So here is a 30-minute warm-up you can do every day or whenever you want, that will not bother your roommates, your friends, your family, whoever you live with. You can go into your bedroom and do these. You can go into the bathroom and do them. If you really want to be super private, you could even turn on some running water in the bathroom while you do them. You can drop an octave down at any time, even during the middle of an exercise, or you can sing higher, and just drop in and drop out. It doesn't matter that you do these perfectly. What matters is that you do them and you keep your voice in practice, even though we are gigging. Most of us are gigging less than normal, and most of us are staying at home a lot more than normal. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing, before we get started, I want to tell you it will be helpful if you have a glass of water and a straw for this warm-up. If you don't have them, that's okay. You can do some other syllables, but it would be helpful to have these two things. This allows you to get some higher intensity workouts in at the very end without having to make more noise. But if you don't have them, that's cool. Okay, let's get started. All right, the first thing we're going to do is check in with our bodies. We are more stressed out than normal, most of us these days. There's a lot of stress going around, and we store it in our bodies. And also, we are spending a lot of time on our phones and our computers, so we tend to get hunched over. So it's always important, but it's even more important these days. So stand up, shake it out, and let's check in with your body to see where you're storing some tension. In the shoulders, let's let those down. In the jaw, let's massage that out. In the tongue, stick it out. All right, in your neck, let's roll around a little bit. If you have a place that you know you store tension, then spend some time to massage it or stretch it out right now. All right, and then as far as posture, let's pretend that you have a string attached to the top of your head, pulling that spine straight, just boop, 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 boop. It's totally straight out, and get those shoulders just hanging straight down from your shoulders, rather than falling forward. Hope that made sense. I think you know what I'm talking about. And then feel both feet on the ground with your weight nice and stable. Just we're connecting to the body. We tend to get disconnected. We tend to get very heady when we're stressed out or reading too much or all the things that are going on these days. All right, let's get into actually using our bodies to prepare to make sound. The first thing we're going to do is connect with our breath. This is something that I find that when I haven't sung for too long, I tend to start singing from my throat because those were old habits way, way back. So if you are out of practice, it's so important to connect with your breath and make sure that you're powering from the right place. So we are going to start with an F because it's very quiet. I often use an S or a sh, but those are a little bit louder. So you need an F. So just take a low breath, expand that rib cage, and then do a long F with some pressure behind it. And you just keep going. Keep going while I talk. And you want to just feel that pressure, connect down to your body. We're not doing anything with our throat here, right? The air is just passing right through. Okay? Good. All right. Now we're going to put some voice on that with we're going to make a V. V. Try that. Just slide around. This is no scale yet. V. So a V sound. This is the same shape as an F. It's just voiced. I need some of that water I got for myself. Great. Okay, now one more thing we're going to do without a scale, just to connect to breath. We're going to do chipmunk cheeks, which is... So you really feel the conversation between your belly and your lips when you do this. Make sure your cheeks are puffing out, so you can feel what it feels like to power your voice from your belly rather than your throat. All right, we are good to start making more sound. We'll take that last one we did, that chipmunk cheeks. We're going to put it in a scale. It goes like this. Okay, your turn. Here we go. so on. Your throat does no work. Your vocal cords do, but not the external muscles of your larynx. If you feel your throat getting tight at all, do one without voice to remember what that feels like. Then come back in with voice. Keep going. Pushing from the belly. Back down. Very good. Okay, next we're going to do some raspberries. Those are where you stick your tongue out and you make that childlike sound of like, I don't care, whatever that means. If you don't like raspberries or have trouble doing them, then an alternate is lip trills, which are very common. You can find lots of information about those all over. Anyway, let's do some raspberries. We're going to slide these on an octave like this. I never do these. I just wanted some variety. All right, here we go. There is spit going all over my keyboard. That's fun. Really push from the belly. Relax the lips. My hair's getting in the way. All of singing is silly. Well, not all of singing. Lots of warm-ups are silly. Back down. Keep going. Love doing an exercise I haven't done in years on camera. Not quite succeeding. I gotta figure it out. Last one. Great. All righty. Now we're going to go on to back to the v sound that we did, but this time we're going to actually put it in a scale. So we're repeating an earlier exercise, but now we're going to be musical with it somewhat. So it goes and make sure you're covering all the notes in between. We don't want to jump up. That's not the idea. We want to cover all of the notes in between the bottom and the top note. Here we go. almost there. Couple more. Or you can drop out at any time or drop down. That's also fine. Back down. Here we go. One more. Cool. All right, next up is a French nasal sound. Now, normally this sounds something like this. But in this case, since we're trying to be extra quiet, we're going to turn it a little bit into a vocal fry. This basically means we're taking the volume way down. So instead of a full-on which might get loud, might get loud up there, we're going to just keep it at this vocal fry level. And up here. So we've got this thin little vocal cord connection. Purse the lips forward, a little bit of pucker, and here we go. Let your voice rise in your head as it goes higher. So higher pitches, imagine them being higher inside your head. Kind of feels to me like it's going from my mouth kind of to behind my eyes. And the higher we go, the higher it feels. Tiny sounds like this. Back down. Pitch doesn't even really matter here. What matters here is getting that thin connection without an airy texture. We don't want that doesn't help. That's what we want. Excellent. All right. Now let's whimper. So we're gonna go. You should feel that in your belly. Each time I do that, I feel my belly muscles, my abs engage. So try that. It doesn't have to be the same note that I'm doing it on. It could be low if you have a lower voice, or high if you have a higher voice. Wherever's comfortable for you. I just want you to feel what that feels like because we're going to use it in the next exercise. So do a few. Okay, so the next thing we're doing is a humming starting with a whimper. So we're going to go. All right, so here we go. Nobody can hear you, which is good. Back down. Great. Okay. Now we're going to take that sound that we were making, and we're going to make a triple exercise out of this one. So we already had going on. Now we're going to add an M and an N. M as in model, N as in Nancy. I don't know the correct ways to do that. So we're going to go starting with the NG, and then the M, and then the N, or whichever order you like. Here we go. Warmups. I don't think I even changed that one. Rely on airflow, not muscle. One more, then we're going to turn around and come back down. Back down. Having fun yet? Two more. Very nice. Okay, next we are going to sing foo. The syllable is foo, F-O-O, and this is going to be a 5-note descending, ascending, descending. So foo, 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 foo. So again, this is a small, tiny exercise. We want connection, meaning we want our vocal cords to connect against each other and not let a lot of extra air through, so that we are actually warming up. When we warm up with a breathy texture, it doesn't do much for us. Foo, foo, foo. I mean, you might be quiet, but you're not really getting any benefit. All right, here we go. So let this be tiny again. The theme is tiny and connected. Foo, 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 foo. We don't want foo, foo. So think of this little thread coming out in front of your face. Right about here. Foo, 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 foo. Foo, 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 foo. You can be very quiet with this and very effective. Oops, I went the wrong way. Can't talk and play at the same time. If it gets too high, just drop down or drop out. All right, going back down. Couple more. Foo, 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 foo. Very nice. Okay, next, same exact pattern on she. Again, we don't want to reach for this. When we get high, we don't want to go she, 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 she. We want to feel like it's head voice during most of the exercise. She. So we're looking for this tiny little connection. She. Even down here. She. Okay, so it's going to sound like this. She. One place that people go flat a lot is on a descending, descending scale when we go from the 4 to the 3. She. So that's something that I have had to work on, and it's something that most people also need to work on. So maybe pay attention to that. Okay, here we go. She. It might help to sob a little bit. That can help. Connect the vocal cords in what feels like a head voice production, even though we're in this low range. Not technically head range. Feel free to drop down or drop out. We'll catch you on the way back down. Back down. She. Tiny connected sound. She. Not a whisper. I think of it like a golden thread of sound, like a laser. She. There we go. All right. Next, we are going to use our straw, finally. So this basically extends your vocal tract. So your vocal tract is made up of spaces inside your body, and it ends at the end of your mouth. But if we put a straw in our mouth, then our vocal tract extends all the way out here. And this gives us, first of all, it makes things quieter. So, woo, woo, woo. So we can sing quietly. And this also makes it more obvious when your air is uneven. So you might try something like, and you can feel that when you cross over your bridge, there's a little gap, not a gap, but a little bump or a dip in your air pressure. We want to make it nice and consistent. So that is the pattern we're going to do. Take your straw. Ooh, I had a wobble there on the top. Did you hear that? That top note is right on a bridge, so it got me. Okay, if you don't have a straw, then let's see. Let's do mum, 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 like that. Okay, here we go. Cool. Make sure you're singing through the straw. Again, your throat shouldn't be straining, tightening. You should feel like your voice and your air are going through the straw. I'm gonna stop for a second. If it's not coming through the straw, it'll look and sound, or it'll sound like this. There's literally no air coming through the straw. I'm just putting it in my mouth and going, ooh. That's not the idea. We want to, ooh, like the V and the F and the Z. Ooh, send your voice through the straw. Okay, continuing on. Cool. Back down. What a half step. Oh well. Cool. Now we're going to do the same thing, but on an octave and a half arpeggio. The pattern is like this. So, Here we go. I need 2 hands to play this, so I won't illustrate. Here we go. Back down. Very nice. Now we're going to finally make use of that glass of water that I asked you to have, or bottle. Now, to avoid spilling water all over your keyboard, or, well, I guess you don't have a keyboard in front of you, but I do. To keep from spilling water everywhere, just cover the glass with your hand if you need to. If you have a bottle, it helps. Or at least if you have a glass with a narrower top. But we're going to be blowing through the straw into the water, and this gives you some extra resistance. So you will really feel how your breath support needs to be in place for this. If you don't have breath support, you're not going to get bubbles. Like if you don't have airflow, not a single bubble. Pretty inconsistent air. Forgot to cover. That is what we're going for. And this allows you to get a little bit more intense with your warm-up, even though it's still very, very quiet to the outside world. So we're going to start with just a 5-note scale. So I can't play and illustrate at the same time. So you're on your own, but you know you're doing it right if you've got bubbles. So it's going to sound like this in the bubbles, in the glass of water. All right, simple as could be. Here we go. Couple more, but you can drop out if you feel tight. Turning around. You can also always drop an octave or sing something completely different. I don't care. I don't know. Great. Okay, last warm up. This is also with the straw in the water, but just going to do a different pattern. So we're doing an octave arpeggio, like we often do. Here we go. Cool. Back down. Your throat shouldn't be working at all. Keep those bubbles going. Can't talk and play. There you go. That was a great warm-up. Good job if you made it through this 30 minutes. I'm going to try to cut it down to 30. That is more than enough. You can definitely keep your voice in shape by doing these quiet little warm-ups. You don't need to go loud for a lot of kinds of singing. Now, if you are a hard rock singer or metal singer, it would be good for you to be able to get some volume in. But this can really keep you in shape. So if this range wasn't great for you and you would like to access this exercise in a range that is appropriate for bass, baritone, tenor, alto, mezzo-soprano, or soprano specifically, those are all available in my membership site for vocalists called Nail Every Note, which you can find at naileverynote.com. You can also just check out, there's tons of stuff in there. There's modules on all kinds of different challenges that different singers face. So you're jumping in and, just having to find your way around. You also have the option for private lessons with me or one of my teachers. Anyway, all that said, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and turn on notifications. Yeah, I never remember all three. I have to think about it. Cool. All right. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.